Hi folks, thanks for stopping by. My name is Dustin Furlow and I'm here hanging out at Cedar Rock Studio Guitar Gallery in Indiana. And today I've got this really incredible guitar on my lap. This is made by one of my favorite luthiers in the business. I've got two of his guitars back at the house, a OM size and a baritone much like this one in terms of dimensions. This is a MJ or mini jumbo model from Marc Beneteau from Ontario, Canada. Marc's been building guitars for, I want to say, almost 40 years at this point. It might be 40, definitely beyond 30. He's been building for quite some time, and it shows. He builds a very player-friendly, like performance-ready guitar, and I think he'll also agree that his main sort of specialty is the modern fingerstyle genre or approach to guitar playing, and you really feel that like in his setup, his like neck profile, his just how solid the guitar feels for that type of playing. Like I always feel like right at home when I play his guitars, not just because I play him back home, obviously, but just in general, his guitars just feel really good for like alternate tuning stuff, a variety of dynamics with the right hand. And so without further ado, we'll talk about this particular build. It's brand new. And like I said, it's a mini jumbo, which means it is 16 inches across the lower bout. It's much like his Model M, which is sort of like an enlarged OM at 16 inches, except this has a tighter waist, and as a result, it sits right here really, really beautifully. I really enjoy that about this guitar model. But yeah, this has pretty much all the good stuff. This is pretty darn close to how I would order my own Beneteau nowadays. Alan's got very fine taste in speccing these guitars, I will say. It's got a snakewood bevel. It's got a sound port, which is bound in maple. It's got a pinless bridge, which, if you weren't aware, the benefit of that is not only do you have faster string changes, but if a string breaks on stage, which has happened to me before, a time or two, it's very easy to just change on the spot, and more importantly, you're not worried about a bridge pin flying out into the abyss of your environment. So you never have to worry about that with a pinless bridge. That would be the primary reason why players like Andy McKee and Don Ross prefer these types of bridges, and yours truly. Anyway, moving on. So there is a really beautiful spalted maple rosette. I'll blow up some photos of that so you can appreciate the contrasts. Probably my favorite rosette wood, period. Really beautiful stuff. And the top is Carpathian spruce, which is the same species as like German spruce, Italian spruce, Swiss spruce, all that stuff. It's just grown in the Carpathian mountains. This stuff is pretty stiff. I have it on my baritone, and I had it on my first Beneteau, and it's good stuff. You can really hit it hard. It's got fat trebles, as you'll hear. Really great top, and the grade of this is obviously to Marc's standards, so it's fantastic. The back and sides are Honduran Rosewood. Very interesting set as well. It's got some straightness, but then it's got some pretty nice waterfall figure there in the middle. And Marc's been doing these really nice interrupted back strips, so it's segmented. You got 1, 2, 3 parts of it, and one in the middle is sort of centered. Looks really, really cool. And nice snakewood neck heel cap. Snakewood end pin, or end graft, I should say. It's got a ebony bridge and an ebony fingerboard. It's got some nice maple trim around the ebony for the fingerboard. It's got the beautiful Honduran Rosewood continued for the head veneer, and Macassar ebony for the back of the head veneer. It's got the beautiful mother of pearl B logo that Marc has on all of his guitars. And one thing I don't typically mention in the demos that I do of Marc's guitars is I really love his headstock profile. It's asymmetrical and it's very recognizable. It's just very classy. I mean, extremely classy, I think. It's got Goto 510 tuners on it. Really nice. 18:1 ratio. That's very smooth. And we'll talk a little bit about the measurements of this guitar. It is 2 5/16 at the bridge and 1.78 or 1 25/32 at the nut. So you have a little bit more room for fingerstyle playing, and the scale length is 25 even. So it's what some would consider a short scale, but as you'll hear, this is drop down to G, this A, and then we got our E down to a C. Holds up pretty nice, I think. This is how I prefer my own guitars nowadays. The biggest benefit of a shorter scale length is being able to get, well, to me the biggest benefit is that being able to do long stretches with a bit less strain effort. The frets are actually just a bit shorter on short scale guitars because obviously you've taken off a 1/2 inch or however much you're accustomed to. So 25 is kind of the sweet spot for me. You kind of have to adjust your playing. You can't hit it as hard if you tune down to a C, but the setup on this is really spectacular. It's like perfect. Marc sends them out pretty darn good for the style of playing I like. I like to go all up and down the neck, and the short scale also helps there. Lastly, I'll say about this guitar, it has a beautiful satin finish for the neck that is like a dream. It's like my preferred thing. Marc has been doing this a lot more on his guitars as of recent. The overall finish is nitrocellulose, but it's just a nice quiet satin. It's like almost like a semi-gloss or a polished satin, but it's not like swishy. So really enjoyable to play in every respect. I could go on for much longer about Marc's guitars, but I will spare you, and we'll get into the next sound clip. If you had any other questions about this guitar, just email Alan at cedarrockstudio.com, and he'll be happy to talk to you. Have a great day. Thanks.